functions of the president. Article 52 of our constitution has created the post of the president. Article 52 of our constitution is directed for the post of the president. And you all know that Indian president is the constitutional head of the country. He is the head of the country, and he is also called as the first citizen, head of the executive, and also the commander-in-chief of all the three armed forces, that is Army, Navy and Air Force. And he also enjoys the highest position in the country as he is the custodian of the law. Okay, so executive power, he also possesses the executive power of the nation, and no court of law can question his conduct or prosecute him. I think you all understood. He is called as the constitutional head of the country. He is the first citizen. He is the head of the executive, and also he is called as the commander-in-chief of all the three armed forces, that is Army, Navy and Air Force, and he holds the highest position in the country. Okay, and coming to the selection, who elects this president? Article 54 and 55 of the Constitution has stipulated the way the president should be elected. It has mentioned about how the president should be elected. So the president is elected by an electoral college. That means elected members of the parliament. That is elected members of both the houses. It is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So the president is elected by the members of the parliament. That means both the houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha members, and also he is elected by the legislative members of all the states, all the MLAs. Okay, so also they have the power to elect the president. So president is elected by the members of the parliament, that is the members of both the houses of the parliament, and also the members of the legislative assembly of all the state. Okay, and Supreme Court judge, he will administer him the oath of office. Okay, so and his term of office is 5 years, and sometime if he is eligible, he will be re-elected. Okay, and when he goes against, if he goes against the constitution, then he can be removed from the office by the parliament through a motion of impeachment. As the president is the constitutional head, it is his duty to see that he doesn't violate the law. If he violates the law, then the parliament has the power to remove him from the power through a motion of impeachment. Okay. And what are the qualifications required to become the member of the required to become the president? President, he should be the citizen of India. He should have completed 35 years of the age, and he should be qualified for the election as a member of both of the Lok Sabha. The head of the executive. Executive consists of Prime Minister, President and the Council of Ministers. So, as the head of the executive, he appoints the Prime Minister, and on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, he appoints the other minister. Okay, and the President has the power to appoint the persons to the high post, like Attorney General, then judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, governors, chairman and the members of the Finance Commission, chairman and members of the UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission, and commissioners, that is ambassadors to the different countries, and the commander-in-chief of all the three armed forces. Okay, so all these are his executive power. That is, he is the head of the executive, appoints the Prime Minister. On the advice of the Prime Minister, he appoints the other ministers, and he also appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court and Attorney General. Then he also appoints the chairman and the members of the Finance Commission, chairman and the member of the UPSC Commission, and also he appoints the Election Commissioner and the Commander-in-Chief of all the three armed forces. So all these are his executive power. The next is the legislative power. As you have learned that in the powers and functions of the parliament, legislature, Power means the power to make the law. Okay, and the president has the power to summon the parliament. That is, he is the one who gives the call. Okay, and to postpone the sessions, and also he addresses the joint sitting of both the houses. Okay, both the houses on the first day of the session, he will address both the sessions. And you also learn that a bill passed in the parliament will become a law only after his approval. Okay, so he has such a power, and the president may either take the, that means he can either pass the bill or re-examine the bill, or he can withhold the bill too. And you also learn that he has the power to elect 2 Anglo-Indians to the Lok Sabha and 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. So all these are his legislative power. That is, he summons the parliament, postpones the session, and the bill passed by both the houses will become only after his approval. And he appoints the 2 Anglo-Indians to the Lok Sabha and 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. So all these are his legislative power. Now judicial power. Okay, yeah, you have learned that he is the one who appoints the judges and the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. Apart from that, he also has the power to reduce the term of imprisonment. He has the power to reduce the term of imprisonment of the criminals. Okay, so that is his judicial power. He has the power to reduce the term of imprisonment of the criminals, and he appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. And financial power. A finance bill cannot be introduced in the Lok Sabha without his permission. Okay, and the permission of the president is a must to introduce this financial bill. Okay, and he has the power to, that means it is the only after the president grants the permission that the report of the finance commission and the controller and the auditor general are discussed in the parliament. Okay, so he has financial power too. Then military force. Okay, as he is the head of the what you say, that commander-in-chief of all the 3 armed forces, he also has the power to nominate, that means to elect the chief of the army, navy and the air force. So he also has the power to declare war and also peace on the recommendation of the parliament. Okay, all these are his powers. That is, he has got executive power, legislative power, judicial power, financial power and the military power. Now coming to the emergency power, that means the president has the power to declare emergency in an unnatural situation. Okay. This national emergency, according to the Article 352, it says that whenever there is a threat to the security of any area in the country, threat to the security of any area of the country, or the whole of it through external attack or internal disturbances. Okay, any threat outside the country or inside the country, okay, the kind of emergency can be imposed. And if the approval of both the houses of the parliament is taken within 1 month before the declaration, and this emergency remains in power, that means in force for 6 months. Okay, and in our country this national emergency was declared in the year 1962, 1971 and in 1975. I think you all understood national emergency. This has been announced or declared when there is a threat to the security of any part of the country or the whole, okay, of it through the external attack. Okay, and the approval of both the houses of the parliament is taken within 1 month before the declaration of the emergency, and this can be continued in force for 6 months. Then comes to the state emergency. State emergency is declared on the basis of the report of the governor of a state. Okay, whatever the report the governor of the state gives, on the basis of that the state emergency is being declared. Okay, for example, if the state government for any reason cannot function according to the principles of the constitution, then the president can declare the emergency. Understood all of you? If the state government doesn't function properly according to the principle of the constitution based on the report of the governor of the state, then the president has the power to declare a state emergency. And this is state emergency is declared for 6 times in total till now, and if the approval of both the houses of the parliament is taken to declare the emergency, and it can be continued for 3 years. Okay, that is about the state emergency. Financial emergency, this kind of an emergency can be described if it is felt that the financial condition or financial situation in the country has deteriorated. Okay, so the president has other 3 powers, that is declare national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. If the country is under the threat, okay, or if there is any internal disturbances, okay, then the president has the power to declare a emergency, but the approval of the house is taken within 1 month for the declaration of the emergency, and it can be extended for 6 months. State emergency, it is declared on the basis of the report of the governor. If the state government fails to function according to the principle of the constitution, then the president can declare the emergency. Financial emergency, that is, this kind of emergency can be declared if it is felt that the financial situation in the country is deteriorated. So these are some of the other extra powers of the president. Then discretionary power, that means where the president itself can take up the decisions and pass the law. For example, if he can do it without the approval of the parliament. That means if the parliament, for any decision to be taken, the consent of the members of the parliament is a must. If the parliament is not functioning, then the president can take up the decision, he can impose, but that declaration or whatever the law that he has passed, it should be got to be approval within the 6 months, okay, from the parliament. So he has the power to take up the discretionary power. When he may invite the leaders of any party to form the government when no single party has got the majority after an election. So you understood, he has the power to call the leader of any party if any party doesn't get the majority after an election. Leader of any party can call to form the government if the party doesn't get the majority. Then secondly, when the parliament approves a bill and sends it to him for approval, he may return the bill for the reconsideration. So this is his discretionary power. And he also has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha. So this is about the union government. I think you all understood. In the union government, you have studied about the structure, powers and functions of the members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and you have studied about the powers and functions of the president. I think you all have understood.